everyone, this is Jasmine from Property Brothers. Welcome to another episode of a new launch studio review. And today, the project that we're going to review is, oh my god.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Open Grand PSF is trending around the range of 1,003.
If we convert it to a 3 plus flexi, it's actually about 5.15 in terms of length.
Set 2, 3 and 21, they are 5 bathers. They face internally towards the pool.
But this project is actually called Marina Gardens. And as you can tell from the name and from the picture, you will know exactly where this belongs. This actually belongs to District 1, more on the central location of the CBD area, which is our central business district. So just to dive in a little bit on the exact location of where it is, this is right beside this MRT station called Marina South. And this whole piece of land, as of now, it's pretty much empty. Like, it's just plain, it's flat, it's all covered with like grass, and it's just waiting for a lot of development to be built in the upcoming years. Okay, so a little bit on the developer. I'm pretty sure that most of you would have known this developer. This is actually one of the very renowned developer called Kingsford, and there are many projects that they have done. I think one of it that is more notable, and they just completed, and it's quite mesmerizing to look from afar. It's actually Normanton Park. So if you have been there, you will realize that, wow, the facility there and the entire landscaping, the whole facilities, the whole vibe is really very resorty. It's like whenever you are there, it feels like a holiday home for you. Okay, so if you were to dive a little bit deeper onto the entire area, as of now, you will see that pretty much all of these are like white sites. Later, I will tell you like what exactly it actually means. But you see there are like 5 very precious pink color plots. All these are residential with commercial only on the first level. So that's the main difference. For OMG, Marina Gardens, it is actually one of the first plot to be developed. Out of these 5, this is the first one that was already tendered and sold and waiting to be launched in this coming quarter. So if you're not very familiar about the Masterplan legends, today we're only looking at 2 different types. One would be the pink color plot, of which we call this like a residential with commercial on the first level. And of course, we have the very famous white sites. Now the difference in the definition over here, like what I mentioned, the pink one would mean that you have some commercial only on the first level. Whereas for white sites, it's really up to you to paint the colors in a way, because you can do it for residential, it can be for office, shops, hotels, service apartment, recreation, clubs, association, like pretty much anything you want to be built there is quite flexible for that particular zoning. So if you were to see the map in actual, just now I mentioned there's 5 different pink plots over here. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of which OMG is actually the closest that you can get to Marina South MRT station. Of course, you might have other plots that is going to be developed in upcoming years, but those probably will be nearer to Gardens by the Bay, and they won't be immediately connected to the MRT station. So I think that's a very precious thing to note when you are entering the plot, like how early on are we in the development, and usually you will have this first mover advantage. If let's say you're the first to be entering in that pink color zone, the pink color plot, and you are actually the nearest to the MRT station, that would be like 2 bonuses to have when you were to enter this particular project. Okay, so just deep dive a bit on the unit specific. In all, there is a total of 937 residential units ranging from 1 all the way to 4 beta types. In between, I think I do see like a dual key, and that is for a 3 beta dual key type. So if you see the car park ratio here, there is a total of 445 car park lots, whereas there is 900 over residential units. Now in this area of Marina or CBD area, most of the time the development don't include the car park lot, which means that in order for you to enjoy a season parking, usually it comes at a monthly cost. So I think this is what we'll be expecting for the upcoming launches over here. Now the expected TOP is to be in year 2029. Now we are in 2025. You realize that usually for developments that is of a higher rise building. Okay, because this one maximum right is at level 45. They usually take longer than your usual development. Right? Most of the time, if you see the whole Lentor area, by like the third year, they should be able to be completed and you should be able to have your keys by then. But because of this area, all the residentials are pretty much on a very high level until level 40 over stories high, which means that you need a little bit more time to build all the way up. So out of the 900 over units is being divided into two separate blocks. You have block 5, which is as high as level 45, and you have block 3, which is as high as level 30. So if you see the side view, you'll realize that it's like one tall and then like one is a shorter one. Now for CBD kind of a project, most of the time the facilities are in between each and every of the building because we have very limited land to play with. Most likely you need to you need to accommodate your car park entrance. Perhaps there will be a pool, but most of the facility, they won't be able to put all on the ground level. Therefore, if you realize our site plan, there's a lot of facilities on different level. For example, on level 14, you do have like reading lounge, sky lounge, relaxation lounge, okay, all sorts of lounge. And then there is a hammock thingy, there is like barbecue pits, on level 34 as well, and even on level 45. Now, the best part about being in a CBD area, I would say it's the gym. I've seen a lot of projects, most of the time, the gyms are located in the middle level, or if not, it will be at the top level. Now, if you've been to MBS before, it's something similar to it. Like you get to run, you get to exercise with a fantastic view. So over here, there is two different gyms. One is the outdoor gym on level 34, and there is a gym, a sky gym on top of the top level, which is at level 45. So you can imagine like how fascinating the entire view would be. And if let's say they are heading towards the sea portion, you will have a fantastic sea view. So this is just some of the facilities on the middle level. You have function rooms on level 31, many viewing decks. Even on level 14, there is a sky lounge. Level 34, you have outdoor gym, and like what I mentioned, there's a sky lounge and gym on level 45. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at the site plan. So, like I mentioned, it's actually not a very big plot. Right, it's squarish, it's easy to visualize. You have two different blocks. Okay, just to orientate you a little bit, this portion belongs to the west side of Singapore. This top portion is where you can see the sea. This portion here is where MBS and your Marina is going to be. And then at the back is all the tall buildings. Later I will put this site map on the actual street directory so that you can visualize like, okay, where the facing is going to be. So out of these two blocks, you realize that only block 5, which is the higher block, has everything. Like you have from 1 all the way to 4-bedder. And as a general rule of thumb in the industry, usually we look at where the biggest unit are, because by right, the developer would give the biggest unit the best view. So like I mentioned, this portion is where MBS is going to be. So if you see, this is where 4-bedder is at. So imagine when you go in, this would be the view that the 4-bedder gets to enjoy. Of course, the other block that's of a shorter block, you do have like 1-bedder all the way to 3-bedder as well. So some of the facilities that you can find on the ground level, of course, you have your usual lap pool. The good thing is that I'm quite shocked that they actually managed to squeeze out quite a number of water bodies in the development. Like you have 2 separate pools here. Number 13, what do they call it? Okay, you have a 50-meter pool. There's some spa, there's a lounge, there's decking for you to do your sun tanning. And on the other side, this is number 4. So quite nice. There's actually kids pool as well. So they dedicate to the expats children's. Then number 7, you have another family pool. Okay, so I did a little editing onto to project the whole thing on the map. This is where Gardens by the Bay is. This whole plot here is Gardens by the Bay. And then this is where the project is going to be. The taller block is here, followed by the shorter block. And this is your access to the MRT station. So all in all here, like I mentioned, if you see where the 4-bedder is, the biggest 4-bedder, the four-bedder will get the best view in a way because like you're overlooking the whole Gardens by the Bay, then followed by a water body. Probably you can see the Singapore Flyer as well. So this is actually the main entrance on where the car is going to come in. This line here is called Marina Boulevard, followed by Marina South Avenue. Then they will have a small lane coming in. This is called Marina Lane. They haven't built that yet, but the road name is going to be called Marina Lane. That's where the cars are going to come in. And in case you're thinking, how do you get to the MRT the fastest way? There actually is some side gates that's nearest to the MRT station, so you don't have to exit through where the cars are coming in from. Down to the floor plan. So all I have now are what is available in the show flat unit. Okay, let's take a look at the one bedder unit type. Very well designed. I think developers usually they know like what is the size that people are looking for and can accept. This size is 431 square feet, and do note these are all post harmonization already, so you do not need to care about all the AC ledges. So you can see here, very standardized kind of one bedder that we can find in the CBD area. Once you step in from your main door, you have an open kitchenette followed by dining. You have your living room followed by the balcony. As for the bathroom wise, most of the one bedders, they are internally ventilated. It will be quite rare for you to have something with a window, especially if it's in the CBD area, because most of the time, all these smaller units, one or two bedder, they are in the middle of the building. So it's a bit difficult to have the window portion. So if you see here, this is a Jack and Jill concept. In case like you're expecting some guests to come over, then there will be one bathroom to use. Then you can shut this off that leads to your master bedroom. Okay, now let's see the two-bedder unit. Now, this particular two-bedder, very well sized, is a 667 square feet. It's going to be good for investor because this is a dumbbell layout. Dumbbell layout, why do we keep saying like, wow, dumbbell layout are actually better for investor? Because they save a lot of corridor space. Instead of having your usual living, dining, then all the bedrooms are on one side, you actually save that portion of a common corridor into your bedrooms. Because with a dumbbell layout, the rooms are on the left and on the right. So technically, there is no corridor required. It's a very efficient space. What I do notice about this two-bedder is that they actually managed to give you an enclosable kitchen. So if you just turn to one corner, you realize, hey, actually all the kitchen stuff are here. It's pretty much an L-shaped configuration. I guess if you need a little bit more countertop space, you can do like a shorter width kind of a tabletop on this side. Because I think if you do a full one, you might not be able to move too much in the kitchen. Then followed by the dining, your living, and your balcony. For this two-bed, two-bath here is quite a standardized design that most of the new launches are coming up with, of which you have one of the ensuite that is for your master room, whereas the other common bathroom is usually a Jack and Jill concept. So that in case you need two different ensuite, this is a layout that you can possibly do so. Sometimes, if let's say you are doing a little bit on, like you wanted to squeeze out just a third bedroom for pure investment, you just want to have a three-bedder kind of a layout, it's possible for you to partition this living room area. So this bedroom will be slightly bigger due to the balcony, but at least like it's possible for you to rent out 3 different bedrooms and you still have a kitchen and a dining to play with. So when you head on to the show flat, you will also see this three-bedder. I think this is the biggest three-bedder that you can find. Let me see. This three-bedder is standing at 1238 square feet. Oh my god, so big. Yeah, this is the biggest three-bedder that you can find. This is a three-bedder premium over here, 1238. First thing first that I noticed is that you probably will have a very nice view. You realize that according to my site plan over here, my really small site plan here, so stack 19 is where the 4-bedder is at. Stack 17 is where this 3-bedder premium is at. So like what we mentioned, 4-bedder usually have the best view, right? So imagine that this actually have the same facing as the 4-bedder. So you get to see your MBS, you get to see the Singapore Flyer all on this side. First of all, you have a foyer. I do feel that foyer is a little bit too long. Like there's a really long walkway. But if let's say you're someone that have a lot of art pieces, you need a lot of wall, you want to display your art or you want to display your family photo, this is going to be a good gallery for you to do that. So once you come in, you have your dry kitchen followed by the dining. So this is what we call like a landscape layout, whereby you have your living and usually the dining will be over here so that the whole space is maximized. Now, if you open up the balcony, you realize that the whole hosting area or the place together is actually really generous in size. So moving into your normal kitchen is where you can find a dedicated yard followed by a WC, and most importantly, you have a storeroom. So this is the bomb shelter over here. I like that it's actually facing inwards towards the kitchen so that it doesn't jut out into your main communal living space if, let's say, it were to open on the other side. Okay, now let's move on to the bedrooms. You notice here you have a total of 3 beds, 2 baths here, of which the master room is generally sized. So now if you realize here, this whole entire round corner, I believe, is all full-fledged windows. So just now we have a rendering photo over here. Let me show you. I think it's like that. Right, it's like that. I think I'm not too sure how true is it for you to be able to see MBS, but this is the kind of design that the developer is looking for. Very premium, very atas. I think the developer will let you know like, okay, this is really worth every dollar and every cent. Okay, followed by the usual 2 bathers over here. So what you want to notice or realize is that the structural beams are all on the side. So you have one nearer to the living room and one that is closer to the master room. In any case, whereby you want to combine this into one huge bedroom, I think that's possible. But if you want to like remove this wall to make a bigger master room, that will be highly impossible and impossible. So part of what I noticed would be that the master room actually do have a dedicated walk-in wardrobe. So this is right beside the door. Sometimes having an L-shaped wardrobe that is outside the bathroom actually save a lot of space. Because if you have it over here or this portion here, then you won't have any space for you to put your study desk. These 2 bathrooms here, you realize that they do have a window for ventilation, so it's quite important for you to take note. All in all, can feel that this is a really, really premium facing. I guess like in order to compensate for the extra space, you do get extra view. Like this whole view is going to be unblocked because this portion is where the marina, because you see, this is where stack 17 is. This is where you are facing. You'll be overlooking the entire garden by the bay here. I think for level-wise, you don't need to go all the way up to level 40. The Gardens by the Bay is not that tall. Probably can get a really good clearance, perhaps from level 20 onwards. Moving on to the show flat number 4, which is the 4-bedder, which is the most premium one. Okay, this is sized at 1647. At 1647 square feet, first thing I would notice is that is it possible to squeeze out a 5th bedroom? Because the size-wise is quite big for a new launch, number 1. Number 2, this is a 4-bedder in CBD area. I don't know whether got private lift or not. I mean, like, you pay so much already. Having a private lift seems like a bonus, right? So this is supposedly the best stack. Okay, let's see the stack first. This is stack 19. So this is where we are. So once you step in, your living room will be facing the Gardens by the Bay. So all these it's gonna look beautiful. Wow, it's gonna impress all your guests and all your family members. Then you have a row of bedrooms that is along this portion. I guess you will need to see what is going to come out after next, because right in front of you is going to be the next project. So, but the thing is that you're not very sure like what is going to come out and how is the design going to be. So that's something that you want to pay a little bit more attention to. Okay, if you see the whole size, 1647 square feet, this is where the foyer is once you come in. Okay, you do have a foyer as well. I think it's great for privacy. Just that, okay, I'm not very sure. Don't quote me, but usually what I hear from clients is that they don't really want their main door to be opening to the entrance of the kitchen. So correct me if I'm wrong. Really, I don't know. Is it a feng shui thing or why do people say that? I don't even know why people say that. So you realize that the foyer area, once you open up, it actually go into the kitchen. Is it something like you need to pay attention to? I don't know why, but if you know why, let me know. Okay, then you have the home shelter at the corner. I guess it's great that it's at the corner, but I don't really like that you have to open up to a main door area and then you can't really play. I mean, it's good that it's at this corner because it doesn't jeopardize what is inside internally. Like you can still play around the configuration inside when your home shelter is right at the corner. Okay, what I find really fascinating is that they have a huge dry kitchen. This dry kitchen is, I feel, is almost equivalent to a normal kitchen size already. So probably is where you can have your mini pantry, your wine. All right, you can set up a bar counter here. I think it's gonna impress your friends. Then the kitchen size wise, is great. It's a very regular kind of two lane where you have countertop space on your left and right. And it doesn't like go any other shape, like a L shape or like a T shape. And right at the back is a WC, that's your yard, and this is the washer dryer. Something similar to what we have for the 3-bedder premium. This is a landscape kind of layout. I'm not very sure whether you will place your furniture like that, whereby your TV is here and then your sofa is all the way here. Like you can do shutter run. But if you see this entire layout, it's really very squarish. I think it's gonna look really generous, very luxurious when you go to the show flat itself. Dining table wise, it seems that they can fit like an 8 packs all the way to a 10 packs. But usually how people would place them is that, okay, you have your living and followed by your dining, which is what we call like a landscape layout. It's going to be good for hosting. And imagine if you were to open up the balcony, what you'll be looking outside is over Gardens by the Bay, followed by your MBS and the Singapore Flyers. So if you take a look at all the bedrooms, they are actually all hidden on the other side. There is no bedrooms on, it's not like a dumbbell layout. So all the bedrooms are chucked on one corner. You have 2 different views that you can enjoy. So you realize most of the junior and the master room, so you have 2 master room in a way because both comes with their ensuite bath, and this enjoy the same facing towards your living room. So these 2 bedrooms I would say is the most premium one because like you get to have a really special view. Then both has an ensuite and both has a really huge wardrobe space. Size-wise, of course, the master room is much bigger and something like what you've seen for the 3-bedder premium. This whole place is probably going to be glassed up. So this portion here is where you are overlooking towards Gardens by the Bay, and probably in front you may want to put a curtain because that will be the upcoming new launch next time. Right, so you have 2 other bedrooms that is facing opposite the road. Okay, so these 2 bedrooms are over here. Okay, so these 2 bedrooms is going to be facing opposite. So depending on what is going to come up next, I hope that the next development is not going to be too near so that the bedrooms have a better view and a better buffer next time. Okay, so size-wise, I would say that they look pretty much similar, just that for the 4th bedroom, the entrance way is actually right next to the other room, so it comes along with a longer corridor area. This 4th bedroom, I would say it could have been bigger, but because of the layout, much of the space is dedicated to the corridor. So overall, this is the site plan of the unit. So you can imagine this is the 4-bedder layout, and then all these are your 3-bedder, followed by the premium ones. So it's good that the bigger size are all at the corner. You can be assured that the bathroom usually would have some sort of window, whereas the 1 and the 2-bedders are all located in the middle of the block. Let's take a look at the current GLS that's going to be upcoming. So all these are the scheduled reserve list. I'm not too sure when. Is it going to be up for tender? When is it going to be sold? But over here, we do see 2 different Marina Gardens here. That's what you want to take note, which means that OMG is going to be the first to be developed in out of the 5 different pink color zones. So for Marina Garden Lane and Marina Garden Crescent, they are located right here. Okay, the lane one is slightly smaller. This would be the pink plot. Estimated ratio in terms of the housing is 390. So it affects the density of the residential, and it will affect how much you need to pay for the MCST. Remember, if you have more units, maybe like up to 1,000, usually the share value is distributed much across. Usually it will be a cheaper MCST if you were to go into a bigger development. Okay, that's for the pink plot. Then for this crescent, if you see where we are, so this is actually a white site. So even though you have like two different plots, one of it is a residential with a first level commercial, the other one is a white site. So I think there's going to be a lot of transformation, there's a lot to be expected in the upcoming years, given that you see how all this whole area here don't have any developments yet. Bulk of it are all towards the CBD area, which is our Telok Ayer, the downtown. That's where the MBFC is at. That's where Marina Bay Sands is at as well. Okay, so this is the indicative price that we have gotten from one bidder. It's going to start at $1.16 million. If I were to use my calculator to just divide it, if let's say I managed to get a one bidder at 1.2, price-wise is about 2008 for a PSF. Now, if you were to compare what is the previous new launch that just sold based on when I record it, I will bring you to Parktown. A PSF is about 2002 to 2005, and all these are in the OCR region. So is it worth it to just top up a 300 PSF to go into the CBD area, District 1? And it's actually a prime area. It's going to be very high in terms of the rental yield. It's something that people would consider. Okay, then you have your two bidders that is starting at $1.8 million. Seems really quite affordable. Like if you were to count what has been happening in the OCR region, like from Woodlands to Tampines, prices has been crawling, even though like they are at the outskirts of Singapore. And for the three bedder, it starts from 2.45. Of course, maybe if you want some choices, you probably have to stretch a little bit to 2.6 to 2.8. But I still feel that it's quite a palatable quantum if you were to compare on apple-to-apple basis. Both are a 99-year lease product, but one is in the core central region of Singapore. The other one is in the outskirts of Singapore. Last few thoughts before we end this session. Overall, I thought that it's actually quite good to be the first mover. Because of the area of where we are located. If you see like what is happening in the master plan, there's a lot of white sites. Number one, there is very limited residential area, which are all the 5 color pink plots, and there is a lot of room to grow still. How do you see that? You see that because of all these reserve sites. All these are like what the government haven't really cut up into it. They haven't confirmed what is going to be there yet. It's not just in the CBD area, and this entire portion actually connects you to the west portion of it, of which there is another transformation which is called the Greater Water Southern Front. No! Greater Southern Waterfront! GSW. I know, why must they come up with the name so long? This development is the first to be developed right next to the MRT station. So it's something like what is happening to Lentor Modern. Like they were the first, they were the highest, I don't deny that. But because they were the first to be right next to the MRT station, the subsequent units, because they are a new launch, the PSF, of course, will undoubtedly be even higher than the previous one. So if you imagine the next GLS that's going to be launched for right beside it, then maybe 3 years later, the third one, maybe 6 years later, the fourth one, maybe 10 years later, the fifth one, overall the pricing is going to just creep up a little bit higher and higher, which makes this project, OMG, a better value buy than the others. We have come to the end of this episode, new launch studio review for OMG. My name is Jeslie, and I will see you at the next new launch.